For some reason, there are 10 current WWE superstars that are majorly out of shape. Number 10. Kane's re-emergence on Monday Night Raw has been unexpectedly controversial. In preparation for being the next experienced beast to be fed to Braun Strowman, he himself has eaten up of Raw's best and brightest in recent weeks. Moreover, Kane's physique has been on the wane for years now, with him as unable to stop the wrath of Father Time as he was The Undertaker at WrestleMania. Number 9. The Ascension have effectively been subject to ridicule for the entirety of their main roster run. That should hopefully soften the blow of yet more castigation here for physiques that don't suggest either the threat or terror that one should feel facing up against such frightening opposition. What was once well-refined size has since been reduced to listless bulk, making it fortunate rather than frustrating that the two never seem to get a match on the blue brand. Number 8. WWE like to try and play both sides, talking a good game about wellness, diversity and equality whilst continuing to push chiseled monsters as brand champions in roles too big or labor-intensive for them. Grand Metalik has unfortunately been a recent victim of this methodology. A delight in the Cruiserweight Classic, it mattered not that he had a slight punch in common for performers of his size and style. His array of moves were dazzling, and perhaps mindful of the more image-obsessed observes, Metalik wore gear that best covered the allegedly offending area. Number 7. Once considered a man-beast, Rhino may be thought of more as the latter than former by WWE higher-ups based on what he's been left to get up to on television over the last few months. Appearing both as Santa and Mrs. Claus since last December, his stocky frame has obviously suited a sight gag WWE have aimed for, not least on a festive edition of Talking Smack in which he appeared either smashed on eggnog or entering in the performance of a lifetime. Number 6. Titus O'Neil doesn't have much luck steering clients in his Titus Worldwide clients to glory, but it at least allows him time off from donning tights and sucking the wind out of the first 6 rows when he wrestles. Does that seem an unnecessarily cruel assessment of the Father of the Year award winner that once gleamingly told us to make it a win? Because it seemed perfectly okay for Booker T to rip into the former primetime player during a rare in-ring appearance against Elias on the October 2nd edition of Monday Night Raw. Number 5. Matt Hardy is a 43-year-old father of 2 in condition well enough to perform at the highest level of his profession over 20 years after getting started in it and 10 removed from almost being finished entirely. Couple that with the fact that he overcame a host of personal demons to become one of the industry's most talked about performers, and it's fair to say he's allowed more than the odd cheat day a week. With age catching him out in a way it hasn't his younger brother though, it's hard to ignore his ever so gently deteriorating frame on Raw, especially when he finds himself plugged into meaningless singles and tag battles. Number 4. Baron Corbin has had a tough 2017. The agonized expression on his face after losing his Money in the Bank briefcase was as real as it got, and substantially more evocative than the indifferent stare on his belly. It's a cheap joke, but it's completely impossible to ignore every time the lone wolf goes topless. His flattened and skimmed front resembles a face. And not even an excited one, it's a face that looks more like it's being forced to watch a Best of Baron Corbin DVD. Number 3. Mojo Rawley may have the ring attire of a create-a-wrestler child lost interest in finishing halfway through, but even the most nihilistic gamer wouldn't adorn his mammoth frame with so little definition. In truth, It could be the one thing ultimately holding Zack Ryder's sort of mate back from genuine main roster supremacy. Mojo hadn't done an awful lot in NXT to suggest he'd be a force on the main roster, but that's rarely mattered since the Full Sail system came into full effect. He had size, and relatively recent NFL background and an All-American smile that Vince McMahon would have monetized the SHT out of a generation ago. Number 2. It's laughable to suggest that for his advancing years and grizzled status, Triple H doesn't have the sort of physique that would dwarf athletes half his age. However, as the Attitude Era's nearly man and lifetime number 2 in Best Wrestler Ever standings with both his best friend and his idol, Hunter tends to wear his insecurities on his stretched out sleeve. Number 1. Ask, nay, beg to be considered a WWE superstar, and you shall be considered a WWE superstar. As the babyface equivalent of his reviled sister, Shane McMahon fortuitously hides in plain sight as just as malevolent a force. Kevin Owens wasn't telling many lies in their program, the SmackDown Live. Commissioner doesn't grind his talent down to dust with caustic words without reproach, he just egotistically potatoes them with actual punches instead. McMahon was only too excited to show off his abs during his program with The Undertaker, utilizing valuable seconds of Monday Night Raw TV time to do the old scratch your head with the bottom of your jumper trick. There's been substantially less of that since he took up permanent residence on the blue brand as the SmackDown roster's uncool uncle.